Hey all, I'm going to try to walk you guys through how to create a post on a Facebook page just in case you're not familiar with doing it. Some things I take for granted because I do it on the regs, so if I forget something or you have a question, just hit me up and I'll be happy to answer it or go over it again or walk you through anything that you need. So when you're on Facebook homepage, and I do want to say when you're doing posts, at least right now in the beginning, try to do it from a desktop if at all possible. It gets a little more complicated if you're doing it from your phone, so or from even from like an iPad or a tablet. So let's try to do it from the desktop for now, and then we can kind of work up from there. So when you're on a desktop and you're on facebook.com and you're on your homepage, I'm not entirely sure that it will say Virginia Advanced Study Strategies here and listed as one of your pages because you're not an admin, you have that editor role, and I don't know if it defaults to displaying it like this. If it doesn't, this drop down menu here should display your pages. So you should be able to go from there and click Virginia Advanced Study Strategies. And you want to go there as opposed to not necessarily typing it in at the top in the search, because sometimes it won't come up as a place where you can edit it. It'll just come up as the way a normal public person can view it. So once you get to the page, let's talk about a couple things here. This is that inbox I was telling you about for Facebook Messenger. You will have access to view that because of your editor role, but I'm asking that you don't. If you were to click a message and have it open, I'll no longer get that little notification and I won't know that we have a message that we haven't responded to. So just go ahead and leave that inbox part alone for me. And in terms of notifications, don't worry about that. If you create a post and someone responds to it or likes it, that kind of thing, then it'll actually show up in your regular notifications for your Facebook. So you don't have to worry about, looking for it on the page itself. So you've got a lot of different things here and you really don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We're just going to start with creating a post. So if you, let's say you want to put some kind of photo up, so you just go and you pick your photo and you say open, and of course it loads. No big deal, same as any other Facebook post. I do ask that you don't click boost post. What that means is that we would pay for more people to see what you're posting, and we don't want to do that. So go ahead and leave that alone. But let's say it's Friday night, you have your post ready for Monday, but you're not going to have time Monday morning to put it online. If you come up here and you say schedule, it'll let you pick that you want to do it on Monday, and then you should be able to pick the time. So let's say you wanted to go up first thing in the morning, okay, and then you click schedule, but you're not done until you click schedule post. Now you can click preview and see what it's going to look like, and then if you click schedule post, then it should reload the page, which is always so fun, but it'll actually come up here and say schedule post. So now let's say you did your post, but you forgot to add hashtag innovation exchange. So you can come over here and click edit, and then you can literally just go back in there and put whatever it was you forgot, or if you misspelled something or anything like that, you can go in and you can edit it right up until the point that it's supposed to be posted. And in all actuality, let's say that you didn't do a scheduled post, but rather you posted it outright and you forgot to put the hashtag in, or you misspelled, or you forgot to tag yourself. Let's say you have a resource, you're sharing it, and you want to say, VAST's very own Armin teacher, Mike Lane, created this wonderful resource for teachers, hashtag innovation exchange, and somehow you forgot to put the K in Mike or something like that. You can actually go in from here and just click edit post, and you could still change it, and it will be live on the site misspelled until you change it and then click save, and then you'll be good to go. So that's a basic post. It's really not much different than what a post would look like on your own Facebook page. We don't typically use the feeling activity aspect for VAST. It's a lot more people centered than it is organization centered. However, I don't have any issues if you want to use some emoticons. So, go ahead and connect with people. Just make sure they're appropriate, which is probably a given. In terms of polls, you can create a poll. Now, I believe if you're creating a poll for your own page, you actually have more than two options that you can utilize. Like you can say, which of these is your favorite movies, and you could list 4 movies, and people could pick it. But for some reason on the Facebook page side of it, they only give you 2 options. So if you're thinking about doing a poll, just come in ready to say, do you like this or do you like this? That kind of thing. And you can add pictures. One thing I should say while we're talking about this is if you're sharing an article and they're typically, so hold on one second. Let's go over to CNN here real quick just to do something quickly. So, all right, so if you're on something where you can share an article and they have the ability to share it and you're already logged into your Facebook page on your computer,
the campus store is the go-to spot for...
Go ahead and turn that off for a second. And actually CNN doesn't have it. All right, so option 1 is to copy that URL and then go over to your Facebook and you can paste it here. Scratch that. Not here. Oh, crud. Okay. Sometimes for some reason it will get stuck on this and you aren't able to do anything because you haven't posted a photo. And usually if that happens, I just reload the page. Alright, so you can post the URL here. And then once this populates, once you get that image and this thing going on, then I just go ahead and delete the URL because it'll stay and it just takes up less space and it looks cleaner. So I am going to ask you to go ahead and do that. However, sometimes, so for some reason when we post from our website, if I copy the URL and I come over here and I post this, then the preview that it comes up with is not always very pretty. This is not what we want it to be. So sometimes I'll exit that and whatever it is that I'm sharing, I'll put a photo that corresponds with whatever it is that we're talking about, and then I'll leave the URL so that people still know how to access it. So those are kind of your 2 options. Okay, so sometimes you're on a post that you want to share. So you're reading this thing about proactive classroom management tips and you're like, hey, this is great. I want to get this out on the Facebook page. So some websites have it built in where you can share it directly from the website. Sometimes when you do it, it's great. It populates this and you can come over here and say share on a page that you manage. And I have 2 pages, so I have to pick, but you just have Virginia Advanced Study Strategies, and then you can just, say, check out these amazing tips, and tips, hashtag innovation exchange, and then post to Facebook, and it will go directly to the page, and you don't even have to go to it. So that's usually what I do, but not all of them will immediately populate to recognize that you have a page that you want to post on. Sometimes it'll just say post it to your own page, and then that doesn't help because that's not where you want it to go. So that's when I copy the URL and put it directly on the page. And usually doing that will go ahead and just load it exactly like you want to see it on the Facebook page. So that's the basic gist of posting on Facebook. It's really that much different than how you're posting to your regular page. You can upload videos, you can do a poll, you can do pictures. One thing, if you're not doing it, so let's say that Shelby wants to post something, check out this resource created by our, and I always do a hashtag Armin whenever we reference that. Hashtags aren't as big on Facebook, but they're still searchable in Google, so wherever it comes up is good, and that's why I have to use them. But so I can't just type, like normally when you're on your page, if you're friends with somebody, you type Shelby Brown and it'll populate and you get a list and you're like, okay. But that's not how it works on pages. On pages, you have to put the @ symbol and then you have to write out the name and then it'll populate it and you're able to click it. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to tag yourself, or you're trying to tag someone else that has shared this resource with you, that you have to put at. And sometimes if that person isn't, let's say you've got a great resource from a teacher down the hall, but they're not following our page, sometimes you're not able to tag that person because they're not following our page. So just kind of be aware of that as well. Just be aware that anytime that you're on the page in the editor role, that if you want to add a comment, so you can see here, like I'm commenting as Vast. So here's the Vast picture, here's the Vast picture, and if I write like, "This is amazing," it'll say that Vast said this is amazing. Now, we don't want you to do that. If you share a post and you say, "Here's information from Shelby Brown on how to teach such and such lesson," and when you share it, somebody writes, "Hey Shelby Brown, how do I do A, B, and C?" And in that case, you could come down here and choose yourself, and then you can comment as yourself. And that's really important. So just make sure that if you're ever going to comment, to do it as yourself and not comment as Vast. The only other thing I will say is most of the images that you see on our website we've created, but let's talk about this one. So I've created this photo, but I don't own the rights to this image. We've paid a platform to provide us different photo options, and I have the right to use it because I pay that platform. If you're creating your own image to put on there, you have to make sure that it's something that you own the image to, or there's something that's from the free market. So in that case, a really good website to use if you're looking, just as a simple quick example, is Pixabay, and all of their images are free to utilize. You just download them and you don't have to credit the person that you got them from, which is a benefit because sometimes that can be a hassle when you're trying to put it on a poster. So if you're looking for images to kind of go along with their resource, this is a really good website. And there are others. If you ever need them, just let me know and I'd be happy to send them over to you. But because we are a nonprofit and because we have liability, if we were to share a photo that's not ours, we could eventually have someone file a lawsuit. That's why GIFs get tricky. I try not to use them too much on our social media pages, but I do realize that they're a great way to connect with the public. So it just kind of depends. If you've got one that you really want to use and you're not sure if you should, just send it over to me and I can let you know one way or another. This video has gone on a little bit longer than I planned, so I'm just going to go ahead and sign it off and wrap it up. But like I said, if you have questions or you need any help, I'm here. Let me know.